a movie and you're like, I totally get why this was made, but then you still leave the theater mixed? Yeah, that's this one. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new movie review. Today I'm going to be discussing I Still Believe, which stars the likes of Britt Robertson and KJ Apa, and it's about the true life story of Christian music star Jeremy Camp and his journey of love that looks to prove that there is always hope. Now, here's the thing with these Christian type movies. I like to look at them from two different parallels. The movie critic in me and the Christian in me, because I don't really talk religion on this. This is a movie channel. I talk movie reviews and geeky content, all the plethora all over on this channel. So the thing is about this movie is that I knew nothing going into it. I didn't even know it was a Christian movie until the movie started. I knew that there was a romance to it, but really I knew nothing about this movie, which at times can be a detriment, and sometimes it can be, I should have done my research maybe, but I like going to movies and like this. So, I still believe, I will throw out this, that I didn't hate this movie. I feel pretty mixed on it in certain capabilities, which we'll get to, but I will say that I'm happy that it was at least made. Of course, if you guys are new here though, make sure you're going to hit that like and subscribe, and if you enjoy early movie reviews or in general just geeky content, I love discussing it on this channel on a daily basis, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts as well, so make sure to comment down below and let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Are you guys excited for this movie? Are you not? Let's discuss it. Let me just get my major pro out of the way for this movie first off. I already mentioned that I was happy that this movie was made, even though I was pretty mixed on the movie overall, and I want to say that because, without spoilers of course, if you don't know Jeremy Camp's story, I didn't know it really much either. Of course, after watching the movie, I kind of started thinking back. I'm like, okay, I've heard this story before. I know his story, and, you know, he's a great musician. I like his music. I like what he's done. He's a really great, talented guy. I didn't know much about his story, though, and again, I didn't know that this movie was about him going in, but his story is his story's touched many people's lives. And even doing research, especially after this movie, you can definitely tell that this movie has done a ton for many different people. And I'm glad that now this movie's made. People are now going to be inspired, touched upon, and even in fact maybe grow closer to God, which is kind of cool. And I like that this movie was able to kind of like take it to that level. And I think because this movie was made, many people are going to be inspired. They're going to hear the stories in here, and it's really going to, again, touch them in certain ways where maybe if this movie was never made, they would never hear this story, which kind of goes to me. Like, I had heard, after watching the movie, I remembered the story, I've heard of it, but it was never prolific in my mind, and it's nice to see that this movie now has that to be out there in the world. And I'll also mention, I think Britt Robertson and KJ Apa were actually pretty good, besides having a middling kind of script inside here. Kind of brings me to my cons for this movie. Again, I'm really happy this movie is made because it's going to touch other people's lives in certain ways. I always still feel like these Christian movies always have a couple issues with them, and it's always the same exact issues. One, it gets too preachy. And at times it's like, oh, we're trying to be a fun romance movie, yay, and then, okay, we gotta drop a God word in there. We gotta mention that this is God's movie, and that these people are religious. And at times it got, like, so overabundant that I'm like, okay, I get the point that, like, these people are Christians. I'm Christian too. Like, it just doesn't feel real. And it gets to those moments where some moments do feel very real, but others don't, and it doesn't feel realistic, and it takes you out of the moment. And then some of the romance in here is like shoving it down your throat, like, hey, we're making these people fall in love. And it never took its time to, like, build that romance. It's like, insert beautiful star here, insert beautiful star here. Hey, they have googly eyes towards one another. Oh, let's make them like each other. And that's kind of how it built up to be. It never took its time getting there. It was all montaged through, and in this kind of story, I actually think this would have been better as a mini-series. I feel like this could have had time to develop over a couple episodes of really making you feel the passion on screen of what's going on. And I think a script in this case probably would have even bettered from that. I think a script from that would have even benefited from that by giving the story more time to breathe. It's so focused on making you care about this relationship so fast to get to the actual trajectory of where this story is going, but it just doesn't take its time. And then when you're going through everything that's actually happening in the story, it just starts to drag. It's these same exact issues that happen in almost every single Christian movie I've ever seen. It makes me sad to say that because I was kind of rooting for this movie once I kind of got the gist of where this was going. Also pointed me to say that this movie felt too long. You felt the runtime, and there's multiple different things. And I actually thought there were multiple different places where this movie could have probably ended at. All that kind of just rounded about to make me feel very mixed on this movie, because while this is a very touching story that will really much inspire many different people and kind of touched me in a soft spot, and I know many different people who like need to hear this story, because I think this story is very well out there, and it just, the story is so good. Like, it's so inspiring. And there are many people in my life that I know need to hear this story, but I just wish it was in a better quality movie, because then it would be able to touch more people's lives. And that's like my biggest con to it, is because it just feels like it's going to like take away from other people's lives, and I wish it didn't, because some people are going to watch this movie, start watching and be like, I'm done. I can't get through this. And I won't be like, oh my god, you need to get through it, because I'll understand. Before I give you guys my final thoughts on I Still Believe, make sure to comment down below. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Do you guys totally disagree with me? Did you love this movie? Are you inspired as well by it? Let's discuss it down below, guys. Make sure as well to hit that like and subscribe. And if you guys enjoy early movie reviews like this on a daily basis, also head over to Sandwich on Films on how to see films early like I Still Believe, Onward, and many other more. Of course, just a big thank you to you and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. I Still Believe is a middling ground movie that made me leave the theater feeling very mixed, because I'm so happy that the story was able to be told on the screen, but I'm so sad that it was told in such a poor manner. Yeah, the performances are good, but the romance is rushed, and at times they throw the abundance of having to remind you that this is a Christian movie. And I wish it would have just taken its time building that romance, gotten to the crux of it, and really paced this film just a bit better. It feels rushed, and while this story is very inspiring and touching, I kind of would just rather read a book or hear Jeremy Camp actually tell the story, because that's what I think would have really hit me. Because when the actor is telling parts of the story throughout the movie, I felt inspired. But when it's trying to just force feed me it just felt emotionally abusing at times. I'm very mixed on this one, but I feel like many people, you're going to know if this is your kind of movie or not. And again, I kind of had to take two different perspectives on this. The Christian in me, and also the movie critic in me. So with all that said, I'm going to give I Still Believe a C-. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this movie. Do you guys like it? Did you hate it? Let's discuss it down below, guys. Thank you guys again so much for watching this. And of course, until next time, stay classy.